Paint. What a wonderful, wonderful thing. How's it going, everybody? Hope you're having a wonderful day. Today's video is about that very subject, paint. And to be more specific, the clear coat. How to take care of it, how to maintain it, how to make it look like it came from the factory. Welcome back. So glad you stuck around. Yes, today's video is about paint, particularly the clear coat. This is a requested video that I had by a subscriber who recently got his Camaro and was wanting to know how to do this. And what we are doing to it, or what I'm going to explain how to do to it, is clay barring. Yes, clay barring. There's a lot, and one of the reasons I want to do this is because there's a lot of misnomers out there, a lot of fake science, and a lot of product selling, if you will. If you watch all these YouTube videos and everything, you know, people get paid or get free products to do stuff. And as of yet, I don't do that. I've got a few things that may be coming that were given to me, and when I get them, I'll let you know that I got them, and I'll give you an honest review of them. But there are a lot of false information out there, and a lot of it is in the name of selling products. Now, I'm not going to bash any products. I'm not going to, you know, name any products. The ones that you see me hold up or use or say I use was bought by me, and I'm not bashing them. I'm just telling you that you do or don't need it. And that's where a lot of the misinformation comes from. To clay bar a car is very simple, but figuring out if you need to clay bar your car, that's right, if. You don't always need to. The only time you need to is if you have contamination on the paint. I've seen and heard of people doing it every time they wash their car, and I'm like, and the reason I do that is because we get back to the clear coat. The clear coat is only so thick. I mean, there's only, I don't know, some manufacturers put 2 to 3 coats on it, and then around the edges, around the curvatures and body lines, it's even thinner than that, because, you know, they're not rolling over each body line, they're just spraying along it and going to the next section. But to do the clay bar, there are some very, very specialized tools, and they've been around for centuries. No, not centuries, they've been around for decades. I ain't gonna pull your leg on this one. And before I show them to you, you know, I love trying new products, I love testing new products, I love buying new products like you do. But my channel has always been dedicated to doing it not really necessarily on the cheap, but without the designer products that cost an arm and a leg, something that you may already have that you didn't know you could use for that purpose. And of course, the first thing you're going to need is a clay bar, right? Clay bar. I keep mine in this Ziploc bag. It's been in the Ziploc bag for a couple years now, and as you can see, it's still pliable. It's not dried out. Some people say you need to keep it in a container with detail spray. Detail spray, right? And when I bought my kit, this was the kit. It got 2 clay bars and a thing of detail spray. I picked mine up at Walmart. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them at AutoZone, Advance Auto, any automotive place like that that sells car washing stuff. But just keep it in a Ziploc bag where it's airtight, up in a cabinet somewhere inside the house, not in your garage where it's not conditioned space. Okay? But that's the one specialized tool you need. Okay? You have to have this to clay bar a car. Duh, clay bar. Now here's where some of the misinformation comes from. People will tell you you have to have detail spray to do this. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, that is a lie. You do not have to have detail spray. You do not have to have this product. You do not have to have that product. In fact, I'll show you in a few minutes what you absolutely bare minimum must have, and it actually works better than this. It really does. But first, you need to determine if you need to clay bar your car. You might not need to. This car, well, all my cars don't need it. I check it every time I wash my car, and I'll show you. That ties into what I was saying a minute ago about how to check to see if you need to clay bar your car. You may not. And the reason I'm getting at this is because, again, that clear coat is so thin. And every time you do something to it, whether you polish it, you wax it, sand it, clay bar it, anytime you do anything along that line, you are removing a slight amount of that clear coat. And if it's only so thin, I mean, we're talking fingernail thickness thin. Anytime you do anything to that, you're removing part of that. And this over time, it's going to get thinner and thinner and thinner. And all of a sudden, you'll start having dull spots. And you're like, what the heck has happened? And what has happened is you have ate or rubbed through your clear coat, and the base coat is coming through. And that's where your car gets its shine from, its gloss from, is from the clear coat. The actual paint is flat. It's flat as can be. It's flatter than the color of this shirt. And then you put the clear coat over it and it makes it pop like that. That's just the way the paint system works. So let me get you over here and I'm going to show you how to see if you need it. And this is where the other specialized tool comes in. It's so simple and so readily available. I guarantee you've got it in your house already. Let me show you. You can get it at any convenience store, any grocery store, Walmart, any shopping center, Costco, you name it. Best Buy, Lowe's, doesn't matter. Everybody will say, oh, you got to have a sandwich bag. Well, sandwich bags works real good too, but they're thin. I mean, they're small, hard to get your hand in it. But what I'm getting at is good old plastic bag, right? Very, very simple. You stick your hand in it, right? Wrap it around your wrist a little bit. There you go. That's how you tell. Okay? So let's get up to the car and I'll show you that method and I'll show you how I do it. Method number one. The plastic bag method. Like I said, you can use a Ziploc bag too. But you need to do this on a clean, washed vehicle. Okay? This method. You need to do it on a clean, washed method. Clean, washed vehicle, because if you do it with any dirt on here, well, what do you think you're going to pick up? You're going to feel that dirt, you're going to feel the grime, and not only that, you're going to be rubbing it into your paint. But I'm going to go ahead and do it just for the purpose of this video. What you want to do is you want to find, you know, just the side of the bag, not where the seam is, but the bag itself. And then you're going to put it on your paint and just rub it back and forth. When you get to somewhere that feels gritty or it feels like it catches, that spot needs to be clay barred. It's that simple. That's how you tell. You can get a whole section of the car. Just go over it, and when you feel something that feels gritty, or it catches, or it rubs, it binds, however you want to call it, that is where it needs to be clay barred. Simple enough, right? Now, you've determined that your car needs to be clay barred, okay? Now, when you prepare to do this, when you go get your clay bar, you can order it from online or whatever. Like I said, you can buy them in kit form. That way you have everything you need right there. But once you run out of that detail spray, what next? Well, that will be the method that I'm going to show you that I use every single time now. But let's back up. You figured out that you need your car clay bar, okay? You need to set aside some time, because once you clay bar your car, you're removing all the protection. It will have no protection at all. It will be slick. It'll be like freshly painted. A car should feel real slick. Nothing on it feels perfect. So the problem is with that, you now have to add some protection. So you're going to have to set aside some time to do your clay bar. You can clay bar a car easily, the whole thing in 30 minutes. Easy. Or whatever section needs it. Typically the rear's going to need it, or the front's going to need it. And not much of the side typically needs it, especially not up top. But depending on where you drive, you know, if you have a lot of freeway use and stuff like that, your whole car may be coated. It's a per situation basis. But what I'm saying is, once you clay bar your car, you have removed all the protection. No wax will be on that thing at all. So you need to set aside a weekend where you can clay bar it and come back and wax it. So I just want you to know that up front. Now, we've decided that the car needs to be clay barred, okay? What's the first step you think we need to do before we clay bar? Well, most cars already have waxes in it. Most of your car wash soaps already have waxes in it. You know, yes, a small amount, but it's in there. All that needs to come off, because if you try to clay bar it with that on there, all you're going to be doing is rubbing the wax in the grit. You know, you're not really removing anything. And the best way I have found to do it, yes, there's special things that will do it. There's special soaps out there. There's special chemicals like the concentrated super clean that you can get in Walmart. That works really good. Just spray the car down, you know, wipe it in, rinse it off. The car's stripped. But I like a different method, and it's also cheaper. And that is good old Dawn dishwashing liquid. This stuff is amazing, and if you don't believe that it removes grease, just take a look at those ducks, right? I know you've seen the commercials where they go behind oil spills and collect all the animals that can't fly away anymore or swim away because they're soaked in oil, petroleum, and they use Dawn dishwashing liquid to get that off their feathers, right? Oil, which is a wax. Dawn dishwashing liquid takes it off, it removes it. So, if you determine that it's time for you to clay bar your car, first step is remove the wax and stuff that's on it. Wash your car in a good wax remover or Dawn dishwashing liquid. I prefer this. And then we'll move on to the clay barring. But now I'm going to show you how I determine each and every time if part of my car needs to be clay barred, if the whole car needs to be clay barred, or if the car needs to be clay barred at all. And if you've ever paid any really close attention to any of my detailing videos when I wash my car, you will have already seen this and not known it. You'll be like, that's why he does that. So let me get everything set up. I gotta get the hose around here and everything and get set up, and I'll be right back. Alright, here we are. My preferred method. Like I said, eventually you're going to run out of that expensive detail spray that you don't really need. As you can see, my car's wet, okay? But it's not clean. So first step is cleaning, which means washing. So here's what I always do. I get my bucket of soap, I wash the panel, right? I wash the whole panel. And as I'm doing this, I'm rubbing my hand across it. And like I said, I'm certain if you've ever watched any of my car wash videos, you've seen me do it, but you didn't know why. I'll put my hand on here and kind of rub as I'm doing it like such. And it looks like I'm just using my hand as a steadying point. That is not, in fact, what I'm doing. What I am doing is I'm filling the panels to see if it needs to be clay barred. No bag needed, no tool needed, no expensive detail spray needed. Just your soap and water and your hand. That panel, there's no grit, there's no nothing. It's all being washed off into my mitt. But if I wanted to double check, I just spray it off, and while it's still wet, I go over it again. But I can feel that there's nothing there. So I have done the job of removing the dirt and everything. I now know that this section of the car does not need to be clay barred. So let's move on to the rest of the car. And that quickly, I have just checked the whole upper half of my car to see if it needed to be clay barred. That quick. As I wash with one hand, I rub my hand across it with the other and check. That's all there is to it. It's really that simple. It's all about lubricity, and soap is one of the best lubricating agents you've ever seen. That's why when you spill it on the floor, it's so hard to get up. You know, you have to wipe and wipe and wipe to get it up. And yeah, works really good. And it also works for clay barring, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Let me get this rinsed off. Okay, so you've decided that your car needs to be clay barred, or a section of it needs to be clay barred. Again, the fancy detail sprays and everything, they work great, but it's not necessarily. Because once you run out of them, are you going to run back out and buy another one? No, this is the best way. This is actually better. If I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This is a better way of doing it than the detail spray. It really is. Like I said, soap is super lubricity. That's just the way that's part of the cleaning process, or the cleaning side benefits, if you will. So, soap and water and your clay bar. First thing you want to do is take your clay bar and knead it up. This loosens everything up. It gets it broke loose. It gets it into a working shape, right? You can fold it or whatever you want to do. I typically get it about 3 fingers wide, and you can see it's sticky. That's what makes clay bars so great. It's sticky. I get it about 3 fingers wide. That way it gives me a way to work it back and forth. Now I'm not going to be doing this. I'm going to be demonstrating doing it because my car does not need it. So I don't want to cause damage by doing something that doesn't need to be done. You're only sick when you go to the doctor, right? You might feel bad. You decide to go to the doctor. Oh, you got this and this and this wrong with you. Well, this is the same thing. Anytime you do anything to your clear coat, it's like taking your car to the doctor unnecessarily. He's going to find stuff wrong with it, okay? But this is all you do. Take your wash mitt, your rag, whatever you're using with soap and water in it. Sit there and get some on your car. Take your clay bar, right, on here and work it back and forth. Not the whole thing, just back and forth, right, back and forth. Take your other hand or your bag, however you want to do it, whichever one you trust best, and go back and fill that section. Your clay bar will tell you when that section is clear, because it will be kind of catchy at first, and then it'll get free. There'll be nothing there, and then you look at your clay bar, and then you got black specks and dirt and stuff on it because it's picked up everything on that dirt, on that paint. But you just do that, go to another little spot, clay bar, right, back and forth in small motions. You don't want to sit here and do like this because you're going to cause marring on your paint, and that's a pain in the butt to get off. And that's another reason you want to buy a good quality clay bar, one that's from a trusted name like McGuire's, Mother's, Chemical Guys, Grizz Garage, Adams. They all make great ones, but get one from a trusted name, because the cheaper they are, they will cause marring. It'll look like somebody took a eraser or something, just went back and forth on your car. It causes a mess. But that's all you do. You just work it back and forth like that. Check it. And like I said, you'll know when this frees up that it's not there, because you're going back and forth over the same section. Move on to the next section, right? Back and forth. Check it. Once you get the section done, the main thing is you want to keep this thing lubricated. You do not want it to be on dry paint. In other words, I wouldn't want to sit there and go over that with, you know, very little water. Water has no lubricity in it at all, so you'd actually cause damage if you do that. But with soap in it, it's nice and slick, so then you can go back and forth over. Or you can go up and down. Whichever way works best for you. There's no right or wrong. Don't do circles. Do not do circles with a clay bar. You won't hear me preach about this much. You can wax a car how you want. You can dry a car how you want. But with clay barring, do not do circles. Back and forth. Or up and down. Whichever one suits you. And then when you're done with that panel, it's very simple. Cleanup is so simple. Just rinse it off. That's all there is to clean a car. But there you go. It is that simple. That simple to clay bar a car. The whole point of doing it is you're removing contaminants, right? And it's a really simple process. First you wash your car with your regular soap. Then you go over it with the bag or the finger method, you know, whichever one you like best. I prefer the hands with the soapy water because these two fingers right here are the most sensitive parts on your whole body. Yes, your whole body. So if they could feel a hair on the side of your face, what do you think they're going to feel on your paint, right? So get out, you know, whichever one you want to use, whichever one, I don't care. But get out there and check it. And then the third process is stripping the wax. Doesn't matter what you use. I prefer Dawn just because it's so cheap, so readily available, and I have it. Most homes do. Then after you get that done, clay bar it, right? Use the clay bar and soap and water. You don't need the fancy sprays. You don't. Save that money for something else you might need, like a good quality wax or something. And that brings back to the point, use a good quality clay bar. You don't want to use El Cheapo clay bar because that will mess up the paint worse than anything. It'll leave streaks. I mean, it'll just look horrible and they're hard to get rid of. It's called marring. And you know, anybody sells it, like Mother's, McGuire's, Griot's Garage, Chemical Guys, Adams, just to name a few. Buy from a reputable dealer, somebody you can trust. And then, like I said, you have to wax it after. There's not going to be anything on it. You're going to have to wax it. But with today's waxes, you know, they go on and go off so easy. 15, 20, 30 more minutes, it ain't going to make that much of a difference. But the important thing is don't rush it. Because you don't have to do the whole car. If just the hood needs it, well, strip the wax off just the hood, clay bar just the hood, come back, wax just the hood. See? Save time, save money, save that time for doing other things. Like right now, I got to finish washing in, so I still got to detail the inside, and I have to do the tires and wheels. Because I don't have to clay bar my car. I've already done it. I keep it. Right? But when you get done with it, you will have a shine similar to that. I mean, look at that. That thing is just gorgeous. Right? Because there's no contaminants in it. I keep it waxed. I keep it protected. And that's what it's all about. Huge investment outside of your house. So we need to take care of them. So until next time, get out there and do this to yours if it needs it. Only if it needs it. And we'll see you in the next video. Get out there and make that world a brighter place by doing stuff like that, making that car clean, so I don't have to look at a dirty world. Till next time, guys, gals, I enjoyed it. Hope you did. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for stopping by.